I said at the start of my previous East-West Rail update video that it would likely be the last one before passenger trains started running. But so much more information has been revealed within the latest consultation document that I thought another update is necessary. In fact, I plan to release 3 short videos covering most of what's new, starting with today's episode, which will cover Oxford to Bletchley. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the videos about the Marston Vale line and section from Bedford to Cambridge. We begin with the section which has only recently been constructed between Bicester and Bletchley. This section is due to open at some point next year. There's no confirmed date yet, but I've heard mention of the spring. The initial 2 trains per hour service will operate between Oxford and Milton Keynes, calling at Oxford Parkway, Bicester Village, Winslow and Bletchley High Level, with the journey expected to take around 45 minutes. It has not yet been confirmed who will run the service, but it's likely that Chiltern Railways will operate the service using Class 196 DMUs subleased from West Midlands Trains. The testing phase is now well underway and Class 168 and 165 units have operated on the route, with the Class 168s getting up to the full line speed of 100 miles per hour on certain sections. A Great Western Railway Class 800 also ran on the route to test the viability of using the line as a diversionary route to Euston during the blockades of the Great Western Main Line. A number of closures will be required over the next 5 years to realign the tracks through the new Old Oak Common Station, which is under construction. Winslow, the only new station on the route, looked to be fully completed during my visit in November. The multi-storey car park was complete and all of the 365 parking bays appeared to have been marked. The station features bike storage, a drop-off area and bus stops with shelters. The station building does look a tad industrial if I'm honest, but maybe the cladding will weather a bit so it looks a little bit less shiny. Other than that, there's not much, architecturally speaking, that I can say about the building. Buckinghamshire County Council will operate the car park and there are plans to bring in parking charges. This has raised some concerns locally that it will mean people will park on surrounding roads rather than using the car park. But Bucks Council is planning to put measures in place to hopefully stop this. And potential passengers will hopefully choose to use public transport or active travel options rather than driving to the station. As the route from Bicester to Bletchley has only recently been completed, you would expect it wouldn't feature much within the recent consultation document. However, East West Rail are proposing a number of changes to what has already been constructed. The biggest alteration is the decision to explore options to electrify the route from Oxford to Cambridge, which will require the installation of overhead line equipment across the whole route. However, EWR say they are currently looking at using discontinuous electrification. The reason for choosing discontinuous electrification is that it provides most of the benefits of electrification but reduces the overall cost, as existing bridges and structures do not have to be altered to provide clearance for OLE. As far as I know, the new bridges, such as Addison Road Overbridge and the bridge at Winslow Station, have been built with clearance for OLE, but some existing bridges may not have sufficient clearance. A number of grid connections will have to be installed in order to power the wires, with 2 options being considered for the Bicester to Bletchley section. EWR say they could either use an existing grid connection in Quainton or an existing grid site at Steeple Claydon, with either option requiring the installation of a cable to bring power to the railway. As well as electrifying the line, there are plans to install a new passing loop. This would consist of an additional westbound section of railway, which would be approximately 870 metres long. This new passing place would be built on the section which passes Middle Claydon. The purpose of the passing loop is to allow trains heading to Oxford to pass slower trains such as freight trains. A further passing loop is planned on the section between Oxford and Bicester, with a westbound section of track planned east of Islip Station. During my visit to the drop-in event at Bicester, The EWR reps on the London Road stand seem to be answering a lot of questions, with the mood appearing to be tense at times. The reason for this tension is that EWR plans to close London Road to vehicle traffic, but instead of building a new road to replace it, as originally proposed, it is now the plan to divert traffic over existing roads, with EWR seeking to identify ways in which the traffic can be accommodated without increasing congestion. Pedestrian and cycle access will be retained, and there are plans to either build a new accessible overbridge with stairs and ramp, or build an accessible underpass. The bridge would have a bigger visual impact, but would be cheaper to build, whilst there could be safety concerns with using the underpass due to the enclosed nature of the structure. I can understand why locals would be concerned, but I just hope they weren't too hard on the EWR staff on hand, as they were only doing their best to present the information provided. The planned 2 trains per hour service from Oxford to Milton Keynes can be accommodated at Oxford Station, which is currently being upgraded to provide a new platform and western entrance. However, it is unlikely the station will be able to accommodate more services, such as the proposed Oxford to Bedford service from 2030, or the eventual 2 trains per hour service from Oxford to Cambridge. For that reason, EWR are looking at ways in which capacity can be further increased. Plans include merging EWR services with existing services, such as the Didcot service. This would eliminate the need to reverse trains at Oxford, which would provide some capacity. Additionally, EWR say that extra switches may be required north of Oxford Station. EWR are also looking at existing stations to see if further improvements will be needed to accommodate the extra passengers the new services will generate. Upgrades could include improving ticket halls, widening staircases, and adding additional car parking spaces at existing stations. One thing that I was glad to read is that East West Rail Co. is working with Milton Keynes City Council and Network Rail to identify ways in which Bletchley Station could be further improved. This could include building a new eastern entrance, which will provide better connectivity from the station to the bus interchange, and provide improved access to the town centre. Some of the proposed interventions may be modest, but it is interesting to note that further upgrades are planned on existing stations. Perhaps the government is now starting to realise just how popular the new route could be. In the next video, I'll be talking about the section from Bletchley to Bedford, which will need to be upgraded to accommodate new services. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it.